The sun dipped low, casting a dusty glow over the auction yard. A little girl, no more than 8, stood on a wooden platform, her tattered dress clinging to her frail frame. Her eyes, wide with fear, scanned the crowd. "No one wants to adopt me," she whispered, tears streaking her dirt-smudged cheeks. The auctioneer's voice boomed, listing her as Lot 17. But the biders remained silent, uninterested. The girl's name was Lily. She clutched a ragged doll, her only companion since her parents died in a wagon accident. The orphanage, unable to keep her, had sent her to this grim auction. Men in suits and women in bonnets whispered, but none raised a hand. Lily's heart sank. "I'm invisible," she thought, her small voice lost in the wind. The auctioneer sighed, ready to move to the next lot. Dot in the back. A tall figure leaned against a fence. His wide-brimmed hat shadowed his face, but his piercing blue eyes locked on Lily. He was Jack Harron, a wealthy cowboy known for his cattle empire and solitary ways. Something stirred in him as he watched the girl tremble. Her words, "No one wants me," echoed in his mind, pulling at a memory of his own lonely childhood. The plains. The auctioneer called again. "Any bids for the girl?" Silence. Lily's sobs grew louder, her tiny body shaking. Jack's jaw tightened. He'd come to buy horses, not take on a child. Yet her despair gnawed him. He stepped forward, his boots thudding on the dirt. $100, he said, his voice low but firm. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The auctioneer blinked, unsure if he'd heard right. Lily looked up, her tear-filled eyes meeting Jack's. She didn't understand why the stranger bid, but his steady gaze felt like a lifeline. The auctioneer, sensing a chance to close, banged his gavel. "Sold to Mr. Harlan," the crowd murmured as Jack approached. He knelt to Lily's level, his voice soft. "You're coming with me, kid, no more auctions." She nodded, clutching her doll tighter. "Dot." Jack led Lily to his horse, a sleek black stallion named Midnight. She hesitated, never having ridden before. "It's okay," Jack said, lifting her gently onto the saddle. "Hold on tight." As they rode from the auction yard, Lily glanced back at the platform, her past shrinking in the distance. The wind stung her cheeks, but for the first time in months, she felt a flicker of hope that they arrived at Jack's sprawling ranch under a starlit sky. The house was grand with wide porches and glowing lanterns. Lily's eyes widened. She'd never seen such a place. Inside, a housekeeper named Martia greeted them. "Who is this?" she asked, eyeing Lily's ragged state. "This is Lily," Jack said simply. "She's staying." Marta nodded, her stern face softening as she saw the girl's timid smile. That night Lily lay in a soft bed, the first she'd ever known. She clutched her doll, whispering, "We're safe now, Rosie." But sleep wouldn't come. The room was too quiet, too big. She wondered if Jack would change his mind. Send her back. Downstairs, Jack sat by the fire, staring at an old photo of his sister lost years ago. "I couldn't save her," he muttered. "But I'll save you, Lily." Morning brought new challenges. Lily was shy, barely speaking, as Martia tried to feed her oatmeal. Jack watched from the doorway, unsure how to connect. "You like horses?" he asked. Lily nodded faintly. He took her to the stables where Midnight snorted softly. "Want to help me brush him?" Jack offered. Lily's hands trembled, but she reached out, stroking the horse's mane, a small smile forming. Days turned to weeks. Lily began to open up, her laughter echoing as she ran through the fields. Jack taught her to ride, starting with a gentle pony named Daisy. "You're a natural," he said, watching her balance with ease. Lily beamed, her confidence growing. Yet at night she still woke from nightmares, crying for her parents. Jack would sit by her bed, his deep voice soothing her back to sleep. The townsfolk whispered about Jack's decision. "A cowboy raising a girl? He's no father," they said. Jack ignored them, but Lily overheard her heart sinking. "Do I belong here?" she asked Jack one evening. He crouched down, meeting her eyes. You belong wherever you're loved, Lily, and you're loved here." His words were simple, but they wrapped around her like a warm blanket, easing her doubts. One day, a letter arrived from the orphanage demanding Lily's return. They claimed Jack wasn't a proper guardian. His face darkened as he read it. "They can't have you," he told Lily, who clung to his hand. Jack hired a lawyer, a sharp man named Ellis, to fight the claim. "She's my daughter now," Jack said, his voice fierce. Lily's eyes shone with tears, not of fear, but of gratitude. The legal battle loomed, but Jack kept Lily busy. He taught her to read, sitting under an oak tree with old books. She stumbled over words, but Jack was patient. "You're smart, kid," he said, ruffling her hair. Lily grinned, her fears fading. She began to call him Pa, a word that caught Jack off guard. He smiled, his heart swelling. For the first time he felt like more than a cowboy. He felt like a father. The court date arrived. Lily stood beside Jack in a new dress Martia had sewn. The orphanage director argued Lily needed a stable family, not a bachelor rancher. Jack stood tall, his voice steady. "I've got land money and love for that girl. What more does she need?" Lily squeezed his hand, her small voice adding, "He's my pa." The judge, moved by their bond, ruled in Jack's favor. Cheers erupted as they left the courthouse. Lily hugged Jack, her face buried in his coat. "You didn't give up on me," she whispered. "Never will," Jack replied, lifting her onto his shoulders. The townsfolk, once skeptical, now smiled, seeing the change in both. Lily was no longer the scared auction girl. She was a bright, bold child, and Jack was no longer the loner cowboy. Seasons passed and Lily thrived. She rode alongside Jack, her laughter filling the ranch. Martia taught her to bake, and the kitchen often smelled of fresh bread. Jack built a swing for her, hanging it from the oak tree. "Higher, Pa!" Lily would shout, her voice carrying across the plains. Jack watched, his heart full. He'd saved her life, but she'd given his a new purpose. One evening, Lily found Jack's old photo, the one of his sister. "Who is this?" she asked. Jack's eyes softened. "My sister Sarah. She didn't make it past childhood." Lily hugged him. "I bet she's happy you saved me." Jack nodded, his throat tight. For years he'd carried guilt over Sarah's death. Now with Lily he felt redemption, a chance to make things right. The ranch became a home, not just a business. Lily's drawings covered the walls, and her chatter filled the silence. Jack, once gruff, now told bedtime stories, his voice weaving tales of brave cowgirls. Lily listened, eyes wide, dreaming of her own adventures. "Can I be a cowboy like you, P?" she asked. Jack chuckled. "You can be anything, Lily. The world's yours." The townsfolk began to visit, drawn by Lily's spirit. She'd run to greet them, offering wild flowers she'd picked. "That girl's a blessing," they'd say. And Jack would nod, pride in his eyes. He'd never planned to be a father, but Lily had changed everything. Her trust in him, her love, healed wounds he hadn't known still bled. Together, they were a family, unlikely but unbreakable. One summer a storm hit, threatening the cattle. Jack rode out to secure the herd, and Lily insisted on helping. "I'm not a baby, Pa," she said, pulling on her boots. Against his better judgment, Jack let her ride along. She proved fearless, helping round up strays as rain poured. "You're tougher than half my men," Jack said, grinning. Lily laughed, soaked but proud. That night, as thunder rumbled, Lily curled up beside Jack. "I was scared today," she admitted, "but you were there." Jack wrapped an arm around her. "Always will be, kid." He realized then how much she'd grown, not just in height, but in courage. She wasn't the crying girl from the auction anymore. She was his daughter, strong and bold, ready to face the world. Years later, Lily stood tall, a young woman now. She still rode Daisy, though the pony was slower. Jack, gray at the temples, watched her gallop across the fields. "She's going to outride me soon," he told Martia, who laughed. Lily had dreams of studying, maybe becoming a teacher. Jack supported her, though he'd miss her at the ranch. Go chase your stars, he told her. Dot at Lily's high school graduation. Jack sat in the front row, his hat in his lap. When her name was called, he clapped loudest, tears in his eyes. Lily ran to him after, her cap askew. I did it, P, she said, hugging him. You sure did, Jack replied, his voice thick. He thought back to that auction day, her tiny frame trembling. Now she was a force unstoppable. Lily went to college, but she returned often, bringing books and stories of city life. The ranch remained her home. Jack, her anchor. One visit, she brought a stray dog she'd found. Reminds me of me, she said, laughing. Jack shook his head, smiling. You're still saving strays, huh? He teased. Lily grinned. Learn from the best. They sat under the oak, watching the sunset. Dot. Jack grew older, his hands rougher from years of ranch work. Lily noticed, worrying. You need to rest, Pa, she'd say. Jack waved her off. Got too much to do. But he knew she was right. The ranch was her future now. He began teaching her its workings. Cattle, finances, all of it. It's yours someday, he said. Lily nodded, determined to make him proud. One winter, Jack fell ill. Lily rushed home, sitting by his bedside. Don't you leave me, she said, her voice breaking. Jack took her hand, his grip still strong. You don't need me any more, Lily. You're stronger than I ever was. She shook her head, tears falling. I'll always need you, P. He smiled, knowing she'd be okay no matter what came. Jack recovered, stubborn as ever. Lily stayed through spring, helping with the ranch. They rode together, her laughter echoing like it had years ago. I'm not going anywhere yet, Jack said, winking. Lily hugged him. Good, I'm not done with you. The ranch thrived under their care, a testament to their bond. The auction was a distant memory replaced by love and purpose. Under the oak tree, Lily carved their initials L and G into the bark. So we're always here, she said. Jack nodded, his heart full. He'd saved her from a life of loneliness, but she'd saved him too, giving him a family he never knew he needed. As the sun set, they sat together, the ranch glowing around them. Lily wasn't just the girl he'd saved. She was his legacy, his home, his everything.